Hey, I want to talk about something that I have needed a little bit to collect my thoughts on and write it all down, which is why you'll see it in my glasses. Hopefully, you don't go look at my script. It's not a script, it's just bullet points. I like this to feel more natural, anyways. But the point is, I want to talk about something I call the mag effect. And I'm going to give you just a brief summary of what this is and ground rules for this, because it's supposed to be a discussion. Right? I don't think I have all the answers. I don't think everything I'm going to say is entirely correct here, but that's the journey of it. So, I think Mag is in a state, and the game as a whole is in a state where Mag is the most viable tank, period. There are so many characters where you just play Mag against it. Where you go, well, what do I do as a tank? The answer is play Mag. And that's not very fun. And also, it doesn't feel like the tank will get shaken up too much. Last half season, it really felt like it had, because, well, the thing was really good due to his torch team up. But there was so many things that if they just said, oh, I'm going to play this character, he kind of gets schooled, at least for the casual player, in my experience. Because in my experience, especially if someone on your team hovers Mag, nobody wants to ban Punisher. And Punisher's not the only person to this. And I think that adds to this. But I think the Hood adds to this phenomenon very, very effectively. And I really want to talk about that. The ground rules are, because I know a lot of people who watch this are not subscribed or are not even casual viewers, they're first-time viewers. If I look at my analytics, you're probably the first time you're ever here. This is a discussion. Talk in the comments. I want to know what you think. I want to hear things, because I don't think I have all the answers. I think what I'm going to say might be incorrect, but I think, like, it's in my head, and I've been thinking about it for a few seasons, and then the team-ups came, and I went, okay, this is going to shake things up. And then Mag was still, like, one of the best tanks in the game. If he wasn't S tier or best in slot, he is at minimum A tier. He's still very prevalent in the game, especially for a lot of casual players. And then he's definitely S tier this season. He's probably still the best tank in the game. People referred to him as the best tank in the game last season, too. Okay, so back to that first point that I said. Many characters in the game you just play Mag against. Punisher. What do? You play Mag. Emma, what do? You play Mag. If they're playing Ultron, what do? You play Mag. There's so many characters in this... Hawkeye, you play Mag. There's so many characters that are in this game that if I'm playing tank and I have to choose, like, what's the best option for me to play here? It's Mag. It's almost always Mag. If they're playing any support, you play Mag. If you're playing any support, you pick Mag. It doesn't matter. He works in every scenario. He works against nearly every scenario, with the only one being Prime Dino, where he doesn't really function. And even in that season, if I asked a casual player, they would say, yeah, not the best tank in the game, but still, when they play Punisher, I have to pull out the Mag because I'm trying to protect my Dino. I'm trying to protect my team from all of that damage, especially since it forces their team to play heavy poke. And now that the Dino has poke, it means Mag is even better in that matchup, because walking up to the Dino, he can protect his team, and then he is poke, so he can help poke the Dino down from range. But he's just, especially with the team-ups. The team-ups only solidified this. Actually, that's later in my bullet points. But this is what my thoughts a couple seasons ago, before the team-ups were in the game. There's just so many things where you sit there and you go, well, I guess I'm playing Mag. Elsa was added. Cyclops was added. You just play Mag against them. You just play Mag. And, like, that's the other option. And you might be thinking, okay, well, there's other barriers in the game. I'm going to get to that later. I promise. Let's talk about the ultimate game. Even outside of base kit. Well, but you play other characters for their ultimates, right? No. Why would you? Well, if Punisher ults, you can Mag ult it. If Hawkeye ults, you Mag ult it. If Star-Lord ults, yeah, sure. Emma ult works just as well. You can get him to walk towards you, get a free pick on him. Or you could Mag ult, take away all of his ammo. You take away all of his ammo, or he just doesn't shoot. Wastes most of his ultimate, while your supports cannot worry about him, find cover. And then you can get a free pick off of it if you're good enough, maybe even on a support, winning you the fight. So you turn their DPS ult into your win, which is And even if you don't mag ult that, a support is going to ult it. You don't need the Emma ult to counter it. Most supports know that's something you have to ult against. Anyways, that's not even the point. The point is there are so many things you can use mag ult to do. You can use mag ult against all of these things, and it works against all of these things. You can't do that with strange ult. You can't do that with thing ult. Most of the tank ults are group CC, which is why mags being so different, like even Emma's, is group CC. The reason why mags being so different is the key to it being so effective. That's why it's so good, because you can use it in so many different scenarios, and it is different from all of the other tank ultimates. If they're playing any support, what kills the supports through their ultimate the most effectively and the most consistently? It's mag! Surpriser, I know you didn't expect me to say it that time, but it's mag. What kills the DPS ults most consistently through their ults, especially the ones that rip through your team using bullets? It's mag. And I know there are other things that you can do, but for the average player, let's say bronze through GM, it's mag. You want to play mag. Mag is what's going to work, and work the best. Everything can work, but this works the best. And, let's get into the team-ups, because I wanted to give this a little bit to rest before I talked about it, because I've been thinking about it for a while, but the new team-ups got added, right? And that should balance things out. No, it just makes all the characters that were a problem now more of a problem. Makes mag even better, even if you take the Emma team-up and not the Scarlet Witch team-up, which I'm going to mainly talk about the Scarlet Witch team-up. It really only enhances these problems because the enemy team, you want to play mag. His sustain is so much better than all of the other tanks. His ability to block damage for himself and his team is so much better than all of the other tanks. It is just insane to how good that is. And on top of all of that, the ones who mag was already good against, they got even better against every single tank who's not mag. If they're playing Punisher, what are you gonna do? You play mag. You have to play mag. It's the only thing you really play into that, especially with infinite ammo. And yes, I know, you can dive a Punisher. You can do it. But what's going to work and work the most effectively, especially in a team-based environment when you're playing for your team? It's going to be mag. It works the most effectively, and it leads to this situation where you cannot ban mag. But you can't ban mag even though he is the best tank in the game, at least in my opinion. He has some of the highest damage output, consistent damage output in the game. He has no infinite range, massive projectile, and his projectiles are easier to hit. It removes his limited range and gives him some of the highest consistent damage in the game. This is the Wanda team-up. 10-second cooldown, by the way. When it ends, 10 seconds till you use it again. There's no timing on when you want to use this or how you want to use this, what scenarios you want to use this. You just use this all the time and do consistently some of the highest damage in the game for free. And sure, maybe DPS can do more, but in my experiences, whenever I play mag or someone else on my team plays mag, they have more damage than the DPS. And if somebody is rivaling them, it's whoever is playing the Hood, whether it be me or my other tank, or maybe a Punisher on my team. Nobody else really rivals them in damage, because he just does that much with that team up. It is absurd, and it shouldn't be that way, because he gets it for free. So not only is he the best defensively, but that team up kind of makes him the best offensively. So in almost every scenario, you pick mag, and that is a problem, because we only have 14 tanks. It shouldn't be hard to make them all unique and all work well within the game. Like a penny nerf was not needed. Rogue nerfs. Any nerf to any tank. Genuinely, I don't think any of them were needed. I don't think we should nerf any tank. Unless that nerf separates them from each other. If you went, okay, I need two tanks that might be similar. Let's say you think the devs thought Rogue and Venom were too similar in how they played and what they accomplished. I don't think that's the case. Let's get that clear. I don't think that's the case. But let's say that's what they thought. And then they nerfed Rogue or Venom or both to further differentiate them. That's fine. But a flat nerf to a tank, not really needed, because tanks need to be viable. All of the tanks in the game need to be good. So that way, like, let's say we have 5 S tier tanks. That takes away from the fact that mag is always the best, or mag is always relevant. If we have 5, and let's say it's the same 5 every season, but they switch, and so the top one goes to the bottom, and some of the bottom ones are now at the top of that 5. That makes it feel different, but when you always play mag every single season, it doesn't feel good. And again, here's where we talk about the barriers, because I told you, what about other barriers? I'll get to it. Why would I play another barrier? Oh, but let's play Strange. Yes, let's say you play Strange, and you hold up his shield for the same amount of time as Mag's shield, and then you let his shield cool down for the same amount of time that Mag's shield cools down for the bar to come back to full. Just an experiment to see who can take more damage in their shield. It's Mag. Mag can take more damage in their shield. By the time that Strange, and I tested it, I don't know how to put footage on the fucking screen for you to see. I'm still learning how to do this shit. But I tested it. Mag is able to absorb more damage more consistently on a cooldown that doesn't have to charge up over time. Even with that charge, that ability meter charge, Strange's regen has nothing on it. You will always have that charge back up before Strange even gets close to the amount of health on his shield that he had when he started. It's why you can hardly shield flick in this new season, because there are so many different characters, and since his shield is bigger than Mag's, so many different things are hitting it. It's taking way more damage than a mag shield would, and even if it took the same amount of damage that a mag shield would, it's going to break near instantly, whereas Mag can just put his up again in 3 seconds, 5 seconds if you want the full ability usage. You just play Mag. Why would you play Strange? Unless you're going to play super aggro, or maybe they're brawling too aggressively, and some of the poke characters are off the table. But even if they are brawling too aggressively, play Punisher, play Elsa. There are poke characters to deal with that. And I know those 2 are bans. They're the only 2 that I can think of off the top of my head right now. Maybe that's because they're the only 2 that can stop someone like The Thing or someone like Hulk from brutalizing your tanks in a brawl. But I highly doubt that's the case, especially with how much NetEase loves poke. I highly doubt that's the case. So, why would you play Strange? When your team can counter that for you, you can get more value for your team as Mag, allowing you to win more. Why would you play Strange? Unless you're just the GOAT, Mag has more damage blocking abilities, more self-preservation through his bubble, more team preservation through his other bubble, better utility with his ultimate, and higher consistent damage output. Strange might do more damage in a burst, but Mag does it consistently, so why would you ever pick Strange outside of niche case scenarios? This leads to a scenario where you can't ban Mag. You can't ban him. He's best tank in the game, can't ban him, because you need him. If you ban Mag, there are so many things that you just can't play against as a tank. Unless you play triple or quad support and just pocket your tanks, they are going to get obliterated by the amount of damage that are there. You need a tank like Mag, who is not like Mag. You need Mag on the front line to absorb a lot of that damage, so that way the rest of the team can go, which is where your other tanks become viable, because they're playing with a Magneto. Because Magneto takes all that damage, and he is able to block it and absorb it and do everything well, and then you can play the game. But you can't really play like Strange and Angela the same way you can play Mag and Angela, because Strange can't take that heat. He has to back off. He can't take the heat in the same way that Mag can, and I think we should have different niches. Right? I just said it with the dive tanks. I think Nerfs and Andrew, we have only 14 tanks. We should be able to differentiate them. But to have one tank be able to do all of these things so effectively that you want to play him over other things so often is not good, because it leads to it not feeling like those 14 tanks. The amount of times that I have to play Mag, not even as a solo tank, in a 2 tank, or even hell, we've played 3 tanks, and I still have to play Mag because of the sheer amount of damage and projectiles in this game. both hit scan and actual projectile attacks in this game coming at my team down front line, down off angles that I need to be able to block, absorb, or protect my team from is absurdly high. And Mag is the only one in the cast who can do it effectively. Strange can do it, but only if the rest of your team is able to beat them down with you. Strange really requires you to absorb damage and dish it back out. If you're not able to dish it back out consistently and just walk and keep walking forward, he does not work that well. You need to play Mag. And in most cases, you just play Mag because Mag's higher consistent damage output allows him to walk down faster. The same thing you would want to do on Strange, you can just do it easier on Mag because of the Scarlet Witch team up, which gives you the highest consistent damage output. Why would you play other tanks? We have the best tank in the game, and he's unbannable. Unlike Venom, when Venom was meta, or even, hell, sometimes I've seen Thing banned, even when nobody's running Dive, just because of how well he can run you down. You can't do that with Mag, because you need him. You need him in the game, genuinely. And the problem isn't that he's meta right now, that he's the best tank in the game right now. It's that there's only one of him. And he is always relevant. There isn't like someone similar to Mag, who, not similar in the sense of, oh, same abilities, but similar in the sense of, I can take a lot of damage without dying, or I can take a lot of damage and protect my team without dying. Nobody else can do that super well. There's nobody else that is able to provide that value but Mag. And all of the other stuff that he can do means he is always viable, at least for casual people. And to top it off, if someone else is playing Mag, there's a lot of situations, I experience it at least once every night that I play, and it's like it's only like 4 nights a week, so I'm only playing like 12 hours a week. So, granted, 4 out of every 12 hours, that would be the correct stat, I experience it. Where I am sitting here and I am playing and I'm going, oh my god, what do I even do? The answer, and then me and my friend who are both playing, and if he's on Mag, I say, hey, get off of Mag, please. I need you on DPS so we can walk them down faster. I can't play DPS as well as you can, and there's nothing for me to do but play Mag. We both agreed on that 2 minutes ago when we were struggling, and I said, what do I even do? Well, brainstorming off of you, and you said, just play Mag. That's the only thing you can do. But he was already on Mag. So he gets off of Mag, I get off of Mag, because the only thing you can do as a tank in that scenario is play Mag. And that is bad for the game. Not the fact that he's meta. Not the fact that he's always relevant. Season's good. The guy who's always like, oh, the Seasons is better when Mag is relevant or when Mag is meta. I don't care. I just need a second option. Either make Strange's shield better or add a tank for that second option. And I said, I think Hood makes this problem worse and makes it stand out the most. So what do I mean by that? Well, Hood has a barrier sorry, the light is shining real hard because I have you can see the white from my screen over here. Oh, you can see my glasses too. Whatever. He has a barrier. So you're going to need to be able to save yourself when you can't get healed very easily. There's 2 tanks that can do this very well. Emma, because she can block off the enemy tanks and make them back up too. Hood, and Mag. Hood for the same reason as Emma, and also his self-shield and his shift, and Mag, because he can absorb so much damage. Okay, Hood's passive. He does insane amounts of damage within 10 meters, which means in most players' hands, and in almost every clip I've seen of someone playing him, you're shooting the front line. You play him like Emma, you shoot at their front line, you block off their front line, you pressure them back through high amounts of damage to their front line, you get kills that way, and you play within 10 meters because fall off starts at 8. So you need a tank who can survive that much damage from one character, let alone the other 5 that are shooting at him. Okay. So you're playing Mag. Right? Because we just talked about it. He does all that stuff the best, the most consistently, and more stuff on top of that. So you just want to play Mag. If you're playing into the Hood, you play the Hood and you either diff the Hood and try and get him off. Just absolute beat the crap out of him, damage him to the point where he has to swap off, and you just diff him. Or you play Mag. Oh, okay, well, we talked about ultimates as well. Okay, well, what ultimate does the Hood have? He turns into a turret. He shoots 6 bullets that do high damage plus percentage damage, and they grant every time he shoots, it grants shields to him and everyone around him, and every time he deals damage with those bullets, grants extra shield to him and everyone around him. Okay, well, when Mag ults, he can't shoot. If he shoots, it fuels the Mag ult, potentially killing his own team. If he can't shoot, no bonus health. No bonus health, and his team running away, not shooting because they don't want to fuel the Mag ult, means that, well, he dies in his ult. Or you just waste your ult, cancel it, and leave. So Mag ult, they've added another ultimate to this game where you can just press Q as Mag, and yes, there is skill to it, but the problem is that there is yet another ultimate in this game that Mag counters. When you're not playing Mag, it feels like your job is to sit there and suffer. And yes, I know Tank is a lot of suffering. Tank will never be fun. It will never be something. I don't expect anyone to bow down and thank me for playing Tank. I don't expect it to be, oh my god, I'm killing the entire lobby. That's the DPS job. I like my job as Tank. I like playing Tank. It's fun. But there's a lot of times where I'm playing Tank and I'm looking at the enemy team and I'm like, I play Mag and Mag's not open. So what do I do? And I think it's a very interesting problem that needs to be addressed in some capacity. Gubernatorial out.